Hello and welcome. It is the 19th day of June 2017. My name is Derek. Let's go over silver and gold as well as the ratio of the two. We'll look at three different currencies, the US dollar, Canadian dollar, and the euro. So without further ado, let's get started. USA daily chart, 16 and a half. And this one gave technical analysis setup that has worked really, really well. One of the things that I look for is a situation like this. You go lower, you come up to the band, and then you start to decline. But in this situation in here, it did it on two occasions. So if you didn't get in the first time, you got in the second one. Situation to give bearish indicators, which meant two different ways of looking to get in. One was as it was going lower in here, and then pretty much on the break of this support just recently at roughly at around 1660, 65 would have been the areas. It looks like now it's going to make a play towards this level here. It's a market I definitely wouldn't like day trading because these are not fun. There's a lot of failed move, fast moves within these. You're also trading a heavily manipulated market, but if you can understand how manipulations occur, how oftentimes these down moves, like we can see in here, boom, boom, I mean, they're all the same. They're harsh, they're deep. And you can say, well, this was pretty decent. And you know what? This is almost the same right now. So that's the whole thing, is who knows when this is over, and that's what makes it tough when you've already had a decent decline to say, yeah, I want to go short, or I want to sell some silver now and try to buy it back for 20 cents or 30 cents cheaper, or any mechanism you're looking for to profit on such an event. It's something I wouldn't like doing myself. But that's how I'm looking at the message of this particular market. Let's look at the monthly chart. And if I had no idea about this fundamentals and I'm only playing the chart, something I'm used to doing, then I would not be in this. I would be looking, if I could, to short. But I realized to get in, I'm looking for a break above here. And I want to explain more why that's important in a trading perspective. Because something that I think that a lot of traders like to do is not hold on positions for too long, especially if they're doing a whole bunch of nothing. You want to get in, you want to get out, you want to get your profits. So let's go back in time, back in here. And in this situation, after this decline, band flattens out, makes a move up here, comes back to the band, and we got this area of resistance here, and it does it again. Now when this thing is breaking out and you see it barely over 20 or 20 and a half, 21, that's technical analysis saying to go long. Go long here, somewhere in here. And you profit take here, or 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 here. And why are you still doing it here? And maybe here. But no, I mean, I don't like to hold on to stuff. As a trader, I don't like to hold on to stuff anywhere like this. But that's why I like to find these types of setups. And cryptocurrencies is phenomenal within setups like this, especially not only because you get less failed moves, but because you get extreme volatile moves. But the things that I'm looking for. So a setup like that breaking here would be another one of those kinds of setups. But it's got to get above it for me to say it. Because if a market is, if this was fundamentally speaking never going to see these points again, well, then you would never get in. But myself, I know fundamental analysis of the actual silver metal. I know fundamentals of world fiat currencies. And if you ever know a situation where something is extremely depressed in price, and I don't care what its market, it could be a crypto coin, it could be anything, but you know fundamentally that it's that cheap and it's going to go much higher, then that's times to get excited and, oh wow, I can buy it this dirt cheap. So any type of bearish setups that do bring price action in here, I do welcome them as if they come. Let's move on to the Canadian chart. And in on its daily time frame, okay, broke down this key support level. We look at previous lows. And it's about a little over 21 low change, and it's at 21 high change now. It's only a drop of 2-3% to get down here. It's not that much. But it does seem as if, it could have that move. It's extremely overextended to the downside, well below the band, something I definitely wouldn't want to trade in any kind of paper market. The Euro 1 daily chart even looks worse than this. But before we get to that, let's look at the weekly Canadian. And this goes back showing the 2011 highs. I have no choice but to show the weekly with a whole bunch of periods or show the monthly with hardly any at all. So I'm going to do this one. And resistance becoming support is obvious. And how strong was the resistance in here? How strong was this area traded in here? Well, obviously pretty darn near strong. And any failure means that maybe it's going to recapture that range again. I look forward to being able to buy cheaper prices because not only is it nice having Bitcoins and my Bitcoin portfolio going higher, but to be able to buy gold and silver, mainly silver, at these price levels, $20 Canadian, I welcome it. I almost bought today, actually, and really for a few days now. But you know what? Bearish setup. I mean, here's a situation with the 18 average band. We can see it's resisting it. Now just breaking down below support. How am I supposed to be bullish anywhere in the near term? So if you're a long-term trader and when you're buying physical, I kind of am myself. Why do I want to buy today? See, if you're long-term and you're looking to buy or you're looking to sell, that means you have to move to the shorter-term time frames to decide. Okay, do I wait a week or so? And it looks like for me to buy, I'm going to wait a little bit. Silver on the euro in the daily time frame. And like I was saying, it's even worse. You have a situation where it's a matching high, but technically it went higher. What was nice about it was it happened after a deep pullback, encountered a higher low. Then after its deep pullback and an okay rally, it has a much, much, much more deeper pullback that not only took out the previous low, but it also took out this low as well. It's now not at areas not traded since in here, and obviously before November of last year. Let's move to the weekly for this one. And within such, this previous resistance area having yet another test. It had it here as well. And if this area fails, then where's your next area of support? Well, the very lower end of the range seems to be 1260, but really from the lines that I've drawn in, this is the range that if it's going to break down to another floor, this is what the floor would look like, or the diameters of high and the low, floor and ceiling. Or ceiling and, floor, And that's the euro chart. So let's move this on to gold. And on its US dollar daily chart, it's obviously breaking down. There's a situation like the silver chart. You resist in the band. So going short in here, how you doing? It's obviously a winning play at this point. I'm not going to calculate it, but 61.8%. This is coming up near as an area I'd be looking for as an area for support. It's a choppy uptrend, I guess you could say. I mean, it's making clear patterns of mainly higher highs and higher lows, with the last high being a matching one. But you got a whole whack of higher lows, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So now within the matching low, you see how the curve shape is doing something like this. And then on the low end, then of course, a movement like this, it's like the negative, it's a bearish bull formation that could be coming into play. But for now, I'm going to be looking for support into the 1230-ish area or so. Looking at the monthly chart, and what more is needed to be stated? An uptrend when the prices were extremely depressed back then, because from 1980 the price was 850 and then it pulled back down to 250. So I mean, really, this is 1980 levels. I mean, it's barely above that. If you could find any product of real tangible value that has at least maintained its physical value, unlike things like technology and computers, and it's cheaper or at the same price, gold and silver, then yeah. Of course, back in the late 1990s, buying computers were darn near expensive compared to today, but that's how it's because it was so much more to buy back then, and it was new technology, all that type of stuff. But 850 was a previous high. Its chart pattern from this high, down move, is it mainly a bunch of sideways in here. But as far as its pattern like silver, you have finally managed to establish a resistance level. So breaking north of 14, technical analysis, sort of like in here. Notice all these breaks. Can you see a comment? I mean, here, not much of one, this one. And even, for that matter, this one. But even this one, when it broke this resistance, you still gained if you played it right. And then breaking this resistance, same thing. It's just when you broke this resistance, instant great gain. Same thing here, same thing here. And I'm gonna think same thing here again. But time will tell as it moves forward. I only think we're months and months away from having some very interesting end of the currency times, big things happening. But that's just what I think. Just because I think something like that doesn't mean it's gonna be that way. Okay, let's move on to the Canadian dollar on gold, a daily chart. And making barely a higher high, noticeably now breaking down below this low, but barely at the same point too. Consecutive red candles down. It's not like it's ever seen that before. It has. And I mean, that's why it becomes so difficult now to determine, oh, where's it going to bottom? I mean, where did it bottom here? Or how about here? I mean, this is about this rate is about the same as here, and there'll be a lot more to go to match this onto here, because how often do you make a pattern like this? Look at this high, boom, over this, and then it just crushes the previous lows. And that was the election highs too, because the markets went up that day because early on the surprising event of Donald Trump probably being elected as president was going to happen. Of course, that was true, and then the opposite happened. We're in a market where it's not free. It's a market which, well, that's why I like to buy the gold and silver, but mainly the silver, because they've done a pretty darn near good job, in my opinion, of keeping the prices suppressed and the public and masses misunderstood for quite some time. So good that the value seems to be in place it's like trying to stop a tidal wave or waves from coming in. And if you're strong and good, maybe you can do it for a while, but if the waves keep coming, it's just not going to stop. And that's why I think I wouldn't be surprised that as we move into 2018, 2019, that it's going to be some wild, wild times as far as the global financial debt-based markets. Again, I'm not going to call it bottom, because it's after situations like this and silver showing those types of moves, it's very, very tough to do. Within the weekly time frame, and just I don't like having too many periods like this, but I can get the idea of what I'm looking for. And we can see it's breaking down below this 18 average. And overall, after the up move, it's been in a sideways choppy consolidation period with several higher lows along the way. And then the highs, well, as we can see, same sort of pattern in here. Overall, it's been a decent sideways congestion. I do like the fact that it has, within the resistance test of where it was a support, you can see the test started here, that it has been holding this area for a decent amount of time. I do like that behavior in there. Let's move on to the euro. And on its daily time frame, it's breaking down a little bit. We can see the 18 average band starting to go up. Do we look at the failed move, fast move to the downside? Well, It's one of those situations after this big decline, you have the settling in, the attempt to go higher, looking like it's going to fail. And if you have a situation where it attempts to go higher and then it does this, well, now I know for sure either this rally is a failed one, which should have continuation lower move, probably breaking below 1100, testing into maybe around the 1080 or so area, or what's occurring now, which is the selling below the 18 average band, especially if it can have a little bit more further movement down, maybe towards in here, and then ultimately manages to go back higher. That would be the failed breakdown, but it does seem as if one is going to be the play, and then the wild moves again like this. A lot of these straight up and straight down moves have been occurring. None of the normal like 2 up, 1 down, 2 up, 2 down, 1 up, 1 it's 6 up, 8 down. I mean, it's been wild how both gold and silver have been moving this way. And the weekly chart, and we see the previous resistance level, or support level rather, around 1180 to 1200-ish or so, 1220. It has been resisted for a little while, and then a numerous amount of higher lows in as well again. And as I've been stating with these gold and silver markets, no matter how far much lower they go, I will never believe the fact that it's anything close to organic. In fact, I believe 100% the opposite of organic moves. And the organic moves to be coming in the near time. And how would the organic silver and gold markets look? Well, that's pretty much probably closer to what the crypto charts are looking like today. And one of the things I'm thinking is as we move late into 2017, more so 2018, that as the basically the destruction of this dying system of trading system is going to change all that, thus resulting into a free market. And then it'll be interesting to see how that will play out. But I think that's going to happen. Let's finish this off with the gold to silver ratio. And within this daily time frame, last December, the ratio had really a second test area of the recent time of 73. And after a very choppy start of 2017, since this point in here, has made this move up to about 75 and change, finding support at this previous resistance area. Now moving higher, and a setup right now which is extremely bullish. When you consider you have a move up here to the previous high in around 75.28, back down in this point, and it's now having momentum, and it's, look at all these tests at this area, like in here, here, and then here. So it looks like it's going to be going higher, but to me, this could be a big situation where we might be having very soon. This could be deadly. Well, not deadly, but you could have a spot of like silver going down soon, maybe 12-15%, when gold only goes down 3 or 4, and this thing just shoots higher. Because when the gold to silver ratio goes up, that's usually because both gold and silver are going down. It's just silver goes down more. And then same thing on the reverse. When this is going down, gold and silver are both going up. Just silver will be going up more. I think this number is artificial. I know this number is artificial. And organically, I think this number should be much, much, much lower. That it's extremely hard for me to even consider adding gold to my portfolio when I always have the choice to choose silver over such. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.